Manipulation is a powerful tool used in personal relationships, workplaces, and even global politics. It can shape thoughts, control actions, and dictate outcomes, often without people realizing they are being influenced. In this video, we will explore the fundamental manipulation techniques that you must understand if you want to protect yourself, or even master the art of influence. But this is just the beginning. In future videos, I'll go beyond the basics. We will analyze real-life conversational scenarios, break down psychological tactics, and explore advanced methods in manipulation, persuasion, and control. You'll learn about reflexive brain responses, unconscious reactions that people can't control, but you can use to your advantage. I'll also be providing interactive challenges, exercises, and strategic techniques to help you sharpen your skills in communication, manipulation, and influence. But before we move on to the more sophisticated high-level techniques, you need a strong foundation. That's why, in this video, we're covering the core manipulation methods, the ones that are most commonly used, yet often go unnoticed. Master these, and you'll start seeing the world differently. Now, let's dive in. Gaslighting. Let's begin with one of the most insidious techniques, gaslighting. This psychological tactic is particularly dangerous because it doesn't just manipulate, it rewires the way someone perceives reality. Gaslighting is powerful because it erodes a person's confidence and makes them dependent on the manipulator for clarity. This technique often unfolds gradually, starting with small denials or contradictions that grow over time into outright manipulation of reality. Imagine someone saying, "I never said that," even when you clearly remember they did. Over time, you might start doubting your own memory and questioning your reality. Gaslighting can be used in personal relationships to gain control, in workplaces to undermine colleagues, or even in politics to manipulate public opinion. Triangulation. While gaslighting twists reality, triangulation creates division. Triangulation is a divide-and-conquer strategy. The manipulator pits two people against each other while positioning themselves as the mediator. By creating conflict between two parties, the manipulator stays in control. This technique works because it fosters mistrust, which prevents the two parties from uniting against the manipulator. For example, "They said you can't be trusted. I just thought you should know." This statement seeds doubt and keeps the manipulator in a position of power. Triangulation is often used in workplaces to maintain authority, in families to control dynamics, or in friendships to keep people reliant on the manipulator. Fear-mongering. From division, we move to fear, one of the most primal tools in a manipulator's arsenal. Fear is one of the strongest motivators. Fear-mongering exaggerates risks or dangers to push someone into compliance. This technique works because fear bypasses rational thinking. When people feel threatened, their fight-or-flight response takes over, making them more likely to follow the manipulator's suggestions to avoid the perceived danger. For example, "If you don't listen to me, you'll lose everything." This taps into primal instincts to force action. Fear-mongering is often used in sales tactics, politics, and even relationships to create dependency and obedience. Love bombing and withdrawal. But what happens when manipulators use positive emotions instead of fear? That's where love bombing comes into play. Love bombing overwhelms someone with affection and attention, creating dependency. But when the manipulator withdraws that affection, the target feels desperate to win it back. This technique is especially effective in personal relationships. By creating emotional highs with intense validation and attention, the manipulator hooks the target. Then, by withdrawing affection, they create a sense of insecurity and longing. For example, "You're amazing, I've never met anyone like you," followed by cold indifference when you don't comply. Love bombing is used in toxic relationships, cults, and even in sales environments to foster loyalty and dependence. Information control. Next, let's explore how controlling information can give manipulators ultimate power. Manipulators often withhold or distort information to keep the target in the dark. This makes the manipulator the sole source of truth. When someone controls the flow of information, they control the narrative. This makes it easier for them to shape perceptions and decisions in their favor. For example, "You don't need to know that. Trust me, I've got it handled." This statement keeps the target reliant on the manipulator's version of events. Information control is used in authoritarian regimes, controlling relationships, and even in workplaces where transparency is intentionally avoided. Silent treatment. Finally, we arrive at a quiet yet devastating weapon, the silent treatment. The silent treatment is a subtle but effective weapon. It creates anxiety and a desperate need to resolve the situation. This tactic is effective because humans are wired for social connection. When someone withdraws communication, it triggers feelings of rejection and insecurity, making the target more likely to comply. For example, a manipulator might ignore your calls or messages until you apologize, even when you did nothing wrong. The silent treatment is often used in personal relationships, workplaces, and even friendships to assert control. These are just some of the most fundamental manipulation techniques, ones that I believe everyone should be aware of. But this is just the beginning. Understanding these methods is not just about protecting yourself, it's about gaining power over how you navigate the world. When you recognize manipulation, you gain control. And control means influence. I have so much more to teach you, more advanced, more subtle, and more powerful techniques in manipulation, communication, and persuasion. Each new video will take you deeper into the art of influence, showing you how to defend against these tactics, or master them yourself. Yes, the next techniques will be far more powerful and effective. But to master them, you first need to understand and internalize these fundamental methods. Without them, you won't have the foundation to apply the higher-level techniques correctly. So if you want to learn how real influence works, subscribe now and stay ahead of the game. Knowledge is power. Use it wisely.